I can't believe it. It actually works. I just finished the Smart LR32. Actually, the LR32 part was done by Festool a long time ago, and it's a great setup for having portable milling of the system holes, the 5mm holes at 32mm spacing. When I got the kit, I got it to replace my Blum mini press. If you've been around this channel for a while, you've seen me use the big orange machine with the 7-bit spindle. That was my third one of those. I used to have two bigger ones in the shop that were pneumatically driven, and I got rid of those because they were big and heavy and needed 220 power. So I had the 110 version, but you know, that's a $5,000 machine with the 7-spindle head. And I'm just not doing this kind of work. So I wanted to be able to do the holes, but I didn't want to maintain, and keep a $5,000 machine that I might use, once a year or every other year. So I got rid of that. I sold that, and I looked around at the portable options, and the one negative they all had, and that is one hole at a time. So I knew I wasn't going to get the efficiency of gang drilling, but I did not want to give up the accuracy, because cabinet making is not woodworking or carpentry. It's engineering. All of the numbers, the dimensions, how tall sides are, how deep they are, where you cut the grooves, where you drill the holes, that's all set in stone. It's not my system. It works. It works with all of the Euro hardware out there. It works with the drawer glides of all flavors, the undermounts, the side mounts, the ball bearing full extensions. They all work off the 32mm system. And the cup hinges that in the plates, they all go in the same holes. Your 5mm shelf pins, they go in the same holes. It's a system hole. You put them in the correct location, and all of your hardware fits. You don't, in fact, when you're building your sides, which is most of your cabinet construction, you don't even need to know what's going in it. You don't need to know if it's a 4-drawer, a 3-drawer, a door drawer, 2 deep drawers, 1 skid. None of that matters, because it all works in the system, the 32mm system, which, by the way, is not new. It's been around since World War II, and it works. It's proven. If you build cabinets, you should be using the 32mm system, and you should be using metric. So if I say 24-inch or 36-inch, realize that actually I would be going to a number close to that, but it'd be a multiple of 32. Without getting a deep dive into how actually simple it is to build a cabinet, this system gives me that 5mm hole, and because it's plunged in on this wide base with the flat router bit, 5mm flat bottom router bit, I get the exact same hole that I get with the Blum press or CNC or any of those, and the location of it is just as accurate as well. So I got the kit, and I already had the routers. I already had the track, because this 1400 track has the holes drilled in it, but this track's the same one that I use to run my track saw. So all I really needed was this kit. And I got it, and I saw a bunch of parts and pieces, thought it might be complicated, and realized that there really wasn't much to it. It's pretty simple. Just had to put this base on my router, and I'm using the 1400. It also works with the 1010. It does not work with the 700 or the big router, I don't think, just those two. And then the rest of the stuff was, the bits came with it, and a couple tools to help set up to make sure this is accurately attached. But once that's done, it's just a matter of this bracket is mechanical, and the holes in the track are not the holes you drill through. These are not located where the holes are, they're offset. And the mechanics of it is this plate drops in, and you just push down with each one. So the problem that I had with them was not how easy it was to use or the the accuracy. It was the setup. To set up this rail where it needs to go on each panel, you've got a row of holes in the front and a row of holes in the back. And you have to take their guides, and these are just simply guides. You dial in the depth. You know the 32 millimeter system, the front holes on all cabinets, uppers, lowers, whatever size, the front holes are 37 millimeters in from the front edge. So you set it up for 37, and then it drops on the rail, and there's some pins on the bottom, and it fits right to that. You slide the track right so it's hitting the front, and then you slide on some clamps underneath, and you clamp it on. And then you go through one more thing. There's this bar stock that goes in on the underside, mounts through these holes, and the typical setup is there's a number 16. You set the 16 up and out on both sides, and wherever they go, there'll be a multiple of 32 spaced apart. So if you've got a wider, like an upper that would be close to, say, a 30, they'd be set at a multiple of 32 to get you close to 30. If you were doing a 36, same thing, and they just further apart. But their relative position never changes. They're always a multiple of 32. That was a bit of a problem for me because I use the KISS 2 system. I've had used it for a long time. And the KISS 2 system has a variation on that where it's a multiple of 32 plus 6. So when I saw that, I realized, well, I'm not going to do a straight 32. I did that in my original shop, and there's a couple problems with it that the plus 6 solves. So I needed to cut these 150 millimeter bars down to 147 off a specific end. I was going to take them into I already had them marked. I was going to take them into a machine shop and have them done accurately. Even with that, resolving that, with these gauges, I realized that I had to set this up each and every panel every time. And then to do the back row of holes, I'd have to reset and do it again. So that's 2 setups on every side, and every cabinet has 2 sides. That's 4 setups per cabinet. And I just realized that wasn't going to work for me. I was just going to jettison the system. As much as I liked the router setup and the way that you drill the holes, the actual setup on the panel, it wasn't going to work. It was going to take too long. But I was, thinking about it, and there was no other portable system out there, and short of me buying another Blum press, I just was thinking there had to be a way to make it work. So what I did was create these brackets. They're just a couple of pieces of plywood with, this is version 4, so I've added, they're adjustable now. Originally they were not adjustable. And basically what this does is they replace this bar stocks. I don't need those because I have the spacing. Again, I'm using the 32 millimeter spacing. So just like the bar stock, these are put on relative to, the sides. They're cut to a specific length, and I can't adjust these in and out. They just fit, and that's the Festool system, and I like that. Although I did adjust mine so that when I made the sides, I get that plus 6, but still it's still a balanced panel. I'm going to get the first hole from the one end and the last hole from the other end. They're going to be the same spacing in from the end. And in my case, that happens to be 35 millimeters for the first hole, and then the spacing on all the others is 32. So that gave me that. In addition, the bar stock they give you is like 12 millimeters by 12 millimeters. That's the whole contact. And I have all of this space. So I like that I have a lot more contact, a lot better for squaring. But then I added the stop blocks on the front, and that allows me to just dial it in to the 37. And now every panel, I just drop it on, pull it there, and it's ready to go. Now the clamping part, that's why I said it's 2.5 reasons. The clamping part, I practice on some scrap without clamping it. It does a pretty good job. It doesn't the whole rig will move a little bit, but that doesn't throw off the accuracy. Relative to the panel, it stays put. But I didn't like the fact that it slides, so I did go ahead and clamp it, but it's a lot easier to clamp from the top. I have these, using my Paulk Smart Bench with the MFT holes, I have these TSO clamps, and I just, once I've set it up once, I just clamp those down, and then I'm ready to do my routing. And I route backwards toward the plug-in and the vacuum, because I find it's cord and hose management, it's easier that way when I'm going quick. So, I'm able to do the panel and then just pop the clamp, and then I can go to the next panel. And if I've got, 10 cabinets to do, so I've got 20 sides, I would do all 20 on the 37 millimeter. And then I would reset for the back holes. On the bases, the back holes, they're not 37. I tried to make adjustments to my sides, but it's either a lot deeper or a lot shallower. It doesn't get close to that 24. So the back holes are different distance off the back than the 37 off the front. And that's because in the 32 millimeter system, it's not only top to bottom 32 millimeter, it's front to back. So once we get this front row of holes at 37 in, then the back row of holes is a multiple of 32. And it'll depend on the depth of your drawer glide. So a typical 24-inch depth base where you have again, it's in metric, but it would be a 21-inch side if you're using the undermounts. That's going to, the front of it is going to fit perfectly in the holes at 37 millimeters, and then the back hole is going to be lined up a multiple of 32. In my case, it's because I know the depth of my cabinets, which is based off of efficient use of a 4x8 sheet. I can measure off the back, and it happens to be 89. So I only have two settings, 37 and 89, and I can bore all of the system holes. And while I'm talking about system holes, also note that I drill all the holes top to bottom. They're system holes, and they work with the hardware. So if I do a base, and I see a lot of people do this, and I can't figure out why, but they'll go, okay, well, the hinge plates go here, so they'll mark on their track. That's the hinge plates. And then they'll go, oh, we're going to have shelf pins. We'll just do shelf pins here. So they'll mark for shelf pins. They'll use different colored pins. And then if they got drawers, they'll figure out where they're going to go. And it's like, don't do that. You're making it way too complicated. It's designed to drill all the holes, because then all of your sides are the same. It'll fit any door, drawer combination you can come up with, and you can put your shelves anywhere you need to put them. So it's a couple extra holes, but you're already set up. Just drill the holes top to bottom, and your side panels will work in any situation you run into. My working title for these are the Smart LR32. I'm not sure if that's going to stick, but I do have a question that I need you to answer in the comments down below. I have designed this in SketchUp, and I need to go back to SketchUp because they've changed a lot, and this isn't going to be the final version. They're going to be a little bit longer. They're going to go a little bit further this way, a little bit further this way, and you can see I have extra cutouts. That's because this is version 4, and I was really close, and I kept finding reasons they didn't work. So this is the first one that, I took to the finish, and I like them, but I have a couple of more things to do. So I'm going to finish up the modeling of them. And if there's enough interest in these, then I'll go ahead and take them into layout and create a page or two plan. It'd be pretty simple. There's only, 3 one, two, three pieces of plywood and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of hardware. That's counting the threaded inserts and the knobs, and then a little piece of this fast cap tape. So I can put together all the details and finish them out, make a set of plans available. Pretty economical. I think I'd do them for like $5, and then you could download them, and you don't even need to print these. You could just put them on your phone, and they give you enough data to go out in the shop and build them. But anyway, before I do that, I want to make sure that there's enough people out there with the LR32 and think that this would be helpful. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. Even if you don't have an LR32, if you've got some other system that's nothing to do with 32 millimeter, but it's a piece of machinery that somebody has designed and put it out, and it's mostly there, but you're using it in the field, and there's just oftentimes there's just a little tweak and you can make it so much better. So if you enjoy learning that kind of stuff, then be sure to give me a thumbs up. Mahalo for hanging out with me in the Smart Wood Shop.